How's it going, bros? It's the Squadcast. Garrett and Charlie here. Brady was hit by was lost in a tornado. No, I'm kidding. Nah. It wasn't a tornado. It was
the vegans,
Florida, right? It was the vegans, vegan rebellion. He got caught up in the vegan rebellion. We'll hope to hear from him soon.
Man at war here, people.
Yeah.
Man
so
at
make sure you
war.
tweet at him. Take out the vegan rebellion. All right. All right. So Fastlane happened this year. For some reason they decided to have this pay-per-view again. I think it literally just showed up like 4 or 5 years ago, and they just have no reason to continue it, but they still do. Before we even get into this show, what do you think is Fastlane as a pay-per-view itself, as a stop on the road to WrestleMania?
I think if it was the only stop, it would make more sense. But considering we have the Chamber right before it, it almost feels like you don't need this show. But that being said, I think this year they did it the best out of all of the other ones.
Okay, that's a fair point. I just don't like this pay-per-view. It's like whenever there's a roadblock, I also hate that. These two pay-per-views never existed before. When I was younger, you had I think literally you had No Way Out right after the Chamber or something like that, and then or some weird order. Anyway, and I remember that being the pay-per-view that I was always so hyped for going on the road to WrestleMania, because it always felt like it was very poetic. You know what I mean? For now, there's literally no way out. Whatever happens here is going to set up what's going on going into Mania. I like the setup. Whatever. Fastlane, life in the Fastlane. So yeah, let's break down the show, Charlie. What do we got first?
Yeah, man. So, they actually had a pretty decent pre-show for once. It had a bunch of segments, and it wasn't just recap. I actually noticed people on Twitter were even saying that, like Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful. So I was like, I know everyone kind of thought that. But we did have one match, and it was the New Day, and they defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought it was an okay match. I mean, I thought there were some weird moments in it where there was this weird spot that Nakamura hit where it was like a jumping knee spot or something like that. It was weird, but it was it looked like that should be like a avalanche finisher, and it just wasn't. It didn't look very impactful. Maybe they were just trying it out to see if it would even work. I don't know. Yeah. I know, but I don't think you would do that in a match. I think you would do that either at the Performance Center or, if you were. I assume they get time to practice in the ring at some point. I have no idea for certain spots, but I don't know. I assume for big spots. Who knows? They probably set the ring up 5 minutes before the show. Who knows? Knowing the way WWE books things. Yeah, no, I mean, what did you think of the match, Charlie?
Yeah, I thought it was just a good by the numbers match. It was kind of built around segments setting it up, really. So you had right before this match, you had Kevin Owens cutting a interview with Kayla Braxton, and Kofi came over and they kind of shook hands, and they did some babyface stuff with it. It's not your fault, all that. And then the McMahon family wants to talk to Kofi, and that was kind of the sinking point going into this match, more or less, right? You had the McMahon family wanting to speak with Kofi about the WWE title. It's like, here we go.
Oh yeah. As soon as I heard that, I was very, very excited to see what was going to happen, because I didn't know what they were going to do with this, because it could go a lot of different ways.
But yeah, I think the right call was having New Day win, so I'm open with that.
Yeah. This was one of those things where when they made the announcement that there was going to be a fatal four-way on the main card rather than having Andrade face Ray on the pre-show, I knew this match was going to get more time, and I knew that was only going to benefit it, because you got two guys that are really good in-ring workers in Rusev and Nakamura, and then the New Day with their work rate. I mean, it was destined to be a good match if they gave it time.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the main card, and we kicked it off with the Usos defeating Shane and Miz. I think the match was it was fun. It was fast paced. There's definitely a couple really big spots, like Shane doing the coast to coast to kick Uso out of doing the splash in midair.
Yeah, that was a really good spot. And Shane looked like he about to die on it.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. But I think the biggest point of this is after the match, we had the Shane McMahon heel turn. What'd you think, bro?
Yeah, the heel turn I thought was interesting swerve. They chose to do something that was, this is like what Vince McMahon likes to do. He likes to look at things that look very obvious the way they're going to go. The Miz turning on Shane McMahon because of the way things have been set up, and then turning it on its head so that he gets people. That he's like, wrestling is supposed to be unpredictable to a small degree. So yeah. But I liked the way they set this up too. It was like the last few minutes of the pre-show or something, right before the other tag match. They said on the pre-show, I believe, that they were going to be taking them on first to kick off the show, which I thought was an interesting choice. I do like the unexpectedness of not knowing whose music's going to hit to open the show. It's always nice, but in this scenario, it was like we got that, but we got it before the show started, so it's a little treat for people that didn't know, that people were only going to be able to watch the pre-show.
That. Piggybacking off of that, something they did tonight was they did a very good job of even just continuing storylines throughout the night. The pay-per-view almost felt different in that aspect of there was a lot of story building throughout the night, and it wasn't just I don't know how to really explain it, but there's so many of these pay-per-views where it happens.
Segment kind of felt like it flowed into the next segment, like a broadcast is supposed to. It felt more like a sports event than it did like a wrestling event.
And it felt like it elevated it more towards WrestleMania, which is, honestly, really the entire point of Fastlane, right? So,
oh, yeah. It's the last stop on the road. It's WWE Fastlane, baby, the granddaddy of them all. This was just a good way to start off the show. It definitely built up the hype, and definitely also it set the tone for how things were probably, for this being sort of not a heel night, but like a authority figures kind of dominating things night.
Yeah. So then we go into Asuka and Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Women's title. The match was kind of what you thought it'd be. It went about 7 minutes. And how they booked the finish was Sonya was searching for a kendo stick, but she grabbed the kendo stick, but she left the ring apron up, and Mandy slipped, and then Asuka hit her with a finisher and pinned her. So it kind of showed dissension there. Yeah.
It looks like they're going to go full steam hopefully with a push for Sonya and maybe something else if they want to say like, oh, Mandy was cheated out of this victory after they break up. You know what I mean? And then maybe she'll get another match, but probably not. And maybe we'll see some kind of push after Sonya beats her. Who knows? That would be a good match for Asuka at Mania. If we're talking about potential matches for Asuka when we have Charlotte and Becky tied up in this triple threat at this point, that could be your singles match for women's at Mania.
Yeah, I really see this just even elevating my idea of it being multi-women. I think we're going to have Asuka, Mandy, Sonya, Lacey Evans, probably Naomi. I think they're all going to be involved.
Ladder match?
Maybe. One of them's got to be a ladder match, man. One of these belts has to be, right?
That's every year. They always have one. That could be what they do with the United States title, since there's been so many people involved with that as well.
Yeah. So then we get to kind of one of our swerves of the night. Kofi comes out and he thinks it's a triple threat for the title because Vince McMahon told him so. Next thing you know, he's in a handicap match against the Bar and they beat the living crap out of this guy. I mean, they really beat it. It probably went 2 minutes too long, maybe a little longer, but like this, it says the match was 5 minutes, 15 seconds. It really felt like it went a long time.
Squash.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What worried me, dude, is after the match, Rusev and Nakamura come out, and I'm like, oh no. Are they going to try and form the League of Nations 2.0? Cesaro, Sheamus, Nakamura, and Rusev?
I mean, just those names in a faction is insane. Although, to be fair, the original League of Nations was the same way with Del Rio, Barrett, and
yeah, Sheamus, Rusev, Del Rio, and Barrett.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, Sheamus was in that as well. You're right. So, I mean,
trading them for Cesaro and Nakamura is not bad.
If they came up with a better name, like a different name, it was the same concept, I think it might be better. But if it's literally the League of Nations too, it'll be dumb.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. And again, I think the booking of Kofi Kingston for this championship has made sense, and this only got him cheered even more throughout the end of the night. Really, they didn't overthink this one.
I think if you'd have thought a little bit more about this one, though, you could have had a 10-minute competitive match where he showed he could go against two people like that instead of just him getting squashed for 5 minutes. I think that might have actually built up more steam going into Mania, but maybe I am overthinking it, but I just think that might have helped a little bit.
Yeah, see, I think they're going for the sympathy aspect, more or less, right now. So, yeah, but either way, I would have been down with that. Then we get into one of my favorite matches of the night for sure. We had Revival defeating Aleister Black and Ricochet and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. I mean, this match was going quick since the beginning, and they had some pretty big spots. And hell, what'd you think, man? Shit.
I thought it was a good match. I thought I agree with the result. I don't think the Revival need to walk into WrestleMania chasing, because I don't think that will help them at all right now because of how badly they were pushed before. I think you don't really don't want to do anything that keeps Roode and Gable involved with this, because I think the angle they're going with into Mania is going to be Black and Ricochet versus Revival for the championships, whether it's on the pre-show or on the main card or whatever. But that will be a match, I'm sure. One thing though, I will pitch you an idea really quickly, because I really am sick and tired of Ricochet and Black having a separate entrance. I know they're two independent superstars with unique entrances, but like, I was just thinking there's a perfect way you can do this. You could mix their music together like they did with like The Bar and Fandango and Golden Truth and stuff.
I think they would if this wasn't a temporary thing. I mean, we know this isn't.
That's true, but if they want to actually maybe push them as a tag team, potentially, what they could do is they could have Ricochet like do his thing where it's like dun 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 dun, whatever the music is, and then he's in his little like circle thing of light or whatever, his hologram, and then smoke is pouring in at the same time, and then as soon as it hits one and only, instead of hitting his music, it hits Black's like guitar riff, like straight into the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he raises up like instantly, like you would when that section comes up or whatever. And it's like yeah.
I'm cool if they're on Mania. I'm down with it.
That would be an awesome entrance. I'm again, I'm probably overthinking this. I just think that'd be cool.
I would have been okay with this match being the Mania match.
That's true. I mean, the original four corners they were going to go for would have been cool too, but they just,
But if we're going off how it kind of looks booked off TV, we touched on this a little on our weekly podcast. It looks like it's going to be Revival and Heavy Machinery. If I were guessing, I mean, I don't know if they've released anything or what they've done, but I just kind of going off TV because you had Heavy Machinery beat 3 teams this week. So, which again, I'm sure they'll make it work with them. And then we get into the next match, which I think was the best match of the. Oh, nah. There were some good matches. Okay,
there were a lot of good matches on this card.
The Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title that came kind of out of nowhere, but was a rematch from SmackDown. But man, this thing was cooking.
Oh yeah,
holy R-Truth being 47 years old doing what he does, man, it's kind of nuts.
Well, and this is why R-Truth has been over for as long as he has, because he's not just the funny comedy guy, and it's why the Golden Truth even worked for a bit. Because he's just got that likable personality, and he's, they made him the dumb guy. Like every time he goes up and tries to climb a ladder in a non-ladder match, I still laugh. Like, every little segment, because he puts everything into it. Like some guys will be given crap and will do nothing with it and will sit on the card for years and years below the mid card because they just don't do anything with the crap that they're given.
Yeah.
R-Truth made his entire gimmick out because he came in as a completely different character, but then he got given this stuff and he was like, I'll make this work. I'll make this my thing. And, because he had a career before then, people know that. So it's like, yeah, it's just interesting to see the guy still doing so well. My favorite part of this match, I think, is the idea that Ray and Andrade are so obsessed with each other right now that even though they're in this title match, they're probably still going to be feuding going into Mania. Because they're just so against each other. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as Ray, I think, they went straight for each other at the start of this match, did they not?
I'm I think so, yes.
If I could be wrong about that, either way, there was definitely a moment I remember they were kind of like standing off, like, "Hey, we're in a feud," and then they fought each other for a little bit. I mean, I would love for that to be a main card match at Mania if Rey and Andrade have nothing to do. But yeah, I mean, well, what were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, man, this was a good match, So I'm very curious to see what they do Tuesday. I mean, SmackDown's insane right now. It's an insane show. So that takes us to the first match where I felt like this is rough. The Boston Hug Connection and Nia Jax and Tamina, man. Oh my God. This match was only 7 minutes, but dude, I tell you, it felt like one of the longest on the show. I don't know why, bro. I'm a big Sasha Banks fan, but something with this match. But again, the big part of the match was in the aftermath, which is kind of nice to see. I really like that, how they're just setting up the storylines right away. And it was Beth Phoenix pushing Tamina and then getting laid out by Nia Jax, dude. Nia Jax beasted that bitch. Like,
yeah,
that was a big hit. And then, Natalya came out. So Natalya and Beth Phoenix, maybe a tag team that is at Mania. And I think I'm down with that.
Team Canada. My theory for why Sasha and Bayley, despite being, Bayley being like a really great in-ring worker, and Sasha as well, I think what we're seeing is kind of a similar thing to when you had DIY's first match without the Revival against the Authors of Pain. And we were wondering why it wasn't nearly as good. Not that it wasn't a good match, but it wasn't nearly the quality of the matches that they all had with the Revival. And everyone was kind of like, okay, I guess the Revival were kind of the key to all that. And then they finally called them up and everyone was like, okay. And then they didn't really get a push. I think we're seeing a similar thing where people like Emma and Naomi and Asuka and Becky and Charlotte were really the ones that were putting a lot into these matches, and their spots just happened to go in there and fit really well with a lot of that stuff. And then we were also pushed to do more. But because they're being booked in feuds that they can't really do a lot of their offense with people, that they end up not being able to do as well. Because when these people go against each other, I mean, all of the Charlotte, Bayley and Charlotte Sasha matches are all some of my favorite initial women's feuds when they first introduced the two titles, But for some reason, and everything Becky did on SmackDown was great too. So I think it's just who they're being put up against, really. Not that Nia and Tamina aren't great, but they just don't fit the style that Bayley and Sasha wrestle.
Yeah, I've seen Nia wrestle good matches, and I understand
her match with Alexa. What was that at, like Mania last year or something? Was actually pretty good.
Yeah, where they booked her as a babyface and everything. It worked. Side note: if there's something I can complain about a little bit, I didn't like not seeing Finn Balor at all. I think a back.
What do you mean? We saw him in a package for when he's going to defend his title
against. Yeah, it could have. Let's bring me to the next point. So tomorrow, in case you forgot, he is Intercontinental Champion. Whoa! And
there's an Intercontinental title. I wouldn't know if I watched this show.
For real, it's kind of crazy. I was expecting a Finn Balor interview coming right after that, and we didn't get anything. I actually put this in my notes that I was like, WTF, no Balor. The fact is, he wasn't even on the pre-show either. So I understand you can't get all your titles on the show, yada, yada, yada. But it felt like every other title was featured except for this one. So it kind of felt, you know what, Buddy Murphy didn't get on there either, I guess. But hey.
I think it's kind of a result of them making Samoa Joe United States champion recently. Too recently, really. I mean, it was on the last show before this show. You know what I mean? So
4 people have their title days 27 days and under right now. 5 people.
That's probably how they justify it, because they haven't been that 30-day mark yet, so they can just defend it the next few days.
Yeah, 5 people have had their championships less than 30 days. So
that's actually really convenient for them booking-wise if they decide not to have a title.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changing up for this time of year. But honestly, when your mid-card belts, quote-unquote, are Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, I'm okay with it. And your tag champions, the Revival and the Usos, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to complain. I just thought it was kind of weird. It didn't really feel like there should have been Balor right after that promo, like that package.
Oh
It
yeah,
just felt
it
like
should
they
have
were
been
going to it, and I was like, huh, okay. I guess
like,
not.
Balor's going to defend his title against was it Lashley, and immediately it was like I was like, oh, he'll be with Dasha or something like that. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Exactly. And it just never happened. So
Yeah.
then we get another kind of swerve. And we get a triple threat for the WWE Championship. And it ended up being Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Mustafa Ali. And another match, man, that was a good wrestling match, dude. Mustafa Ali looked like a video game character out there doing some of his stuff.
Mustafa Ali is a video game character. Let's be honest. I mean,
this he's got it.
If you wanted to do a tag team with Ricochet, I'm just saying, if you wanted to do one, there's one for you. But my consulting fee is $50,000 WWE.
My like three guys right now are Ali, Ricochet, and Andrade. Man, anything that they do to me right now.
Andrade got himself over purely on work rate. I swear.
Ali's about to do something. I noticed the crowd was chanting Kofi a lot, but that fits for that story. And so that story is kind of being progressed through this match. And I'm okay with that. But the match was so good, the crowd stopped chanting Kofi for a little bit there. Like there was it says the match went 18:45. I would say about that last 10 minutes, they stopped chanting Kofi because the match was so good. And when your match wins the crowd over like that, that says everything, right?
Oh yeah, I mean when you can silence a crowd to make them pay attention in any sporting event, it means you're doing something right. If for example of that I can think of would be there was a lot of Atlanta fans in wherever that Super Bowl took place, and initially that game was just like roaring in the first half. Talking about the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and it crushed that crowd. The second half, it was completely silent. After that, it's hard to do that, especially in an actual sport. But then in wrestling, because you're encouraged to be as loud as possible, it would probably be even harder. It should be really fascinating to see how they choose to, because this is going to put a wrinkle in things, because Ali is now back where he was, at least to a degree, with the crowd. At least he could be. So how do you book this going forward? Because you still want Kofi in that Mania match potentially.
I think this was a mixture of giving Ali a chance now that he's back and not completely screwing the guy and never giving him a chance again. It was also advancing the Kofi storyline, kind of the sympathy thing, almost the Daniel Bryan-esque storyline. And I mean, honestly, it kind of worked because now Ali. I mean, here's the thing: in four weeks we got Mania, and in 5 weeks we got the shakeup. 6 weeks, SmackDown's going to look a little different. So, because this one's in Canada now, right? So, what are they calling it? The first international shakeup. WWE even posted about it. It's kind of funny.
I think the idea behind that too is that we'll probably get maybe Dunn or someone like that from NXT UK. We'll probably get. Is there an NXT UK show that's taped before then?
I think so.
But we could see him drop the title on one of those shows potentially.
Well, he is defending his title at TakeOver against Walter.
Oh,
TakeOver New York. So TakeOver New York, guys, is going to be nuts. That's going to be one.
Okay, can we explain something really quickly? Because I'm not sure how this works. Are there non-exclusive NXT contracts? Because I hear stuff about Walter wrestling all over the place.
Yeah, so these NXT works with certain brands. So the US guys, I know they can work with Evolve and other stuff like that. The UK guys, Walter's contract is allowing him to finish certain things that he had set up, I believe.
I see. Okay, so that's why he's in smaller promotions. Okay, I was just confused about that because I literally just heard something.
Well, they also work with certain promotions, and they happen to be the ones that Walter was in.
I know he was just in a title match, I want to say, that he lost.
Yes. You are right. He is still the Progress World Champion right now. So, they're going to let him do his thing over there.
Okay.
Who else do they work with? A German brand. If I told you the name, WXW. What? There it is.
That's where it was. Okay.
They work with them too, and they let their guys go over there, and one of their big ones now. They just got Ilya Dragunov. So That's going to be
huge. That's going to be awesome. That guy's basically a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Anyways, next we got the Becky versus Charlotte thing. I mean, I guess I don't know, bro. The finish was weird, but they've kind of overbooked the storyline so much that at this point, I was ready for it to be announced to finally be a triple threat.
I still think it would have sold more pay-per-views to have Becky versus Ronda. I'm gonna die on that hill, but I still believe that. I think initially everyone thought, oh, Charlotte can only make things better in this feud, but they didn't know how to book a triple threat by just having Charlotte get added into the match. If you'd have literally done everything the same, except, well, maybe not everything, but a lot of the things the same, except taking her out of the match in the first place and just having Charlotte get added in because she's Charlotte, but that would have been just as much heat, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. No, agreed. She got DQ'd by Ronda punching her in the face. I just, man, we've gone over this a lot, but honestly, until Mania, it's like, we'll see what they can do. But yeah, it takes us to our main event: the Shield defeating Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre. Corbin's the main eventer, boys. Let's pour one out for the boys. Take a couple of Rooskies. True story.
This was the slowest
Corbin guys.
What was it? What?
We were Corbin guys for a long time there, brother.
I still am.
You got the shirt, man.
I still am a Corbin guy. I
still
absolutely.
Believe in hey, man, he might not have the skull anymore, but he's still a good brother.
Indeed.
Yeah, man, 25 minutes.
This might have been the slowest six-man tag main event of a pay-per-view I've ever seen.
But it still had big moments, and it still got big reactions. So I'm not even going to try and lie. Rick said I felt I was snoring at one point during this match. I don't know how much of that is true. I do know there was probably a good 10, 15 minutes that I missed. But I was really tired there for a little bit, too. A little bit of a headache action.
But a good match would keep you awake. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah, Brady he's hanging out. Brady said, quote, unquote, fuck Corbin. And then he said he'll catch up tomorrow. He's got jury duty. Yeah, our boy's got jury duty. Watch him get a murder case.
No, man, that'll be brutal. He'll go for tax evasion or something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
maybe he'll get.
Damn, so he must have actually got called in. Damn.
Wait, is Rich Swann from Florida?
Is he? I don't know. I don't even know where any of these guys are.
No, you just never know.
This is true.
I mean, he's living in Orlando for Impact, so hey, who knows?
Man. But yeah, guys. Overall score. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say, in terms of Fastlane, what the hell? Fastlane. Also, we missed something. Elias kept having performances throughout the night.
Yeah.
And that finally made sense at the end. Randy Orton RKO'd him after Lacey Evans came out because we knew Lacey Evans was going to get her spot. People can say what they want about Lacey Evans, but they've been consistent with it, and I think it's going to pay off at one point. We'll have to see.
But she has already cost someone a match with it. It has already happened. So.
Yeah, they've definitely been consistent. So Randy Orton RKO's Elias, and I was like, oh, shit. Okay. And then AJ Styles lays out Orton. So there we go.
That's your Mania feud right there for Styles. I think Styles is more Manias where he was not champion than ones where he was. It might be even.
So, right? Shane McMahon, Jericho, and now Randy Orton. And then for the title, Nakamura.
Yeah. True. So actually, he's never been champion going into Mania, has he? Yeah.
No, last year, Nakamura.
Oh, okay. I thought, no, you're right. It's when Nakamura won it, wasn't it?
But either way,
he should have won it. We all thought
4 singles matches for him for Mania.
I love it, dude. It's interesting. It makes him. You know what they could be? You know, every time they have someone that's got that's had a couple of matches in a row at Mania, that's like a top guy that they haven't lost. I'm just wondering, do they want another streak? They may try and capture the match again. AJ Styles has enough charisma to do it, I think. I don't think he's going to be the one to go out and say it though, because he respects the Undertaker too much. But if they start saying it on commentary, I wouldn't be shocked. A couple more years, obviously.
We had a lot of WrestleMania build in this, and I think that's what people wanted. So I think that's kind of why some people are liking the show. Definitely why I'm liking it, because it felt like we could have. What's the best way? Survivor Series. If you didn't watch Survivor Series, you didn't miss a damn thing. And that's disappointing, because that's like one of the big four, you know.
But to be fair, for years the Survivor Series has been treated like kind of the bastard child of the big four.
It has, and you know what? Money in the Bank's pretty much taken it over, anyways, right? So,
arguably, yeah. Well, because the spot that used to be the thing with Survivor Series is the sole survivor a lot of times would get a main event match at a pay-per-view.
Leighton ripped the new almanac. Garrett, those are the high-end cards, the god-tier cards. Brady said he might get the Uso case. Dude, if you meet Jimmy Uso or whoever it was in court, I'm out. That'd be awesome.
You know what's funny? They're all in Cleveland. I could just fly to Cleveland really quickly and go get an interview. No. Get an interview on the way out.
Wouldn't that be something, huh?
No, it's funny. I actually looked at prices for tickets. A lot of the good tickets were taken, so I was like,
yeah.
It's kind of a long drive anyway, so. Yeah.
It's true. Ohio's bigger than people think. Ain't that right, fellas? Come here. Hit my toe. Yeah, man. That NXT weekend, I messed up. WrestleMania weekend with TakeOver on Friday. I can't wait, dude. We're going to tapings on Wednesday, and as Brady said, from Visoki Tweets, he will be tweeting, probably taking some pictures, a little video action for the boys, for the brand. And yeah, we got some Raw and SmackDown, and 4 weeks to WrestleMania. So
do you want to do overall grades before we get out of here?
Yes. I'm going to say a solid 7.6%.
Jeez.
Oh, wait. Out of 10. Jeez.
so it's like a high C or mid-range C, something like that. I guess I would give it a 7, just a solid 7 out of 10.
Which is a good score, man. I mean, that's not
as high as my score for Captain Marvel, but no. By the way, you can check out that video if you guys really, I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I just feel like this show was very average, but at the same time, it was like better than a lot of the other. Like I would argue that all the matches on this show combined aren't better than like say Elimination Chamber, but they're probably better than if you did individual grades for every match on the Rumble card, because not everything at the Rumble was amazing. So which is weird to say, because again, we're talking about big four pay-per-view here,
yeah.
But the Rumble was kind of nothing to to shake a tail feather at this year. There's your Southern phrase of the week. Yeah. So that's pretty. Do you have anything else you want to add before we move on to whatever?
No, man. Yeah, good show for sure.
All right, cool. So, if you guys have not yet, check out the Captain Marvel spoiler review / Avengers Endgame theorization video we put out yesterday. It was super late, so not everyone necessarily have seen it. So make sure you definitely check that out, and make sure that you guys subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're about to go live. And yeah, and we'll see you guys next time. Later, dudes.